Welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is?
Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love now.
This might be bad.
But your group has really some characters in it, no?
Ora naħseb.
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Serie A Spotlight. We're your host Jake
and Matt.
And this is episode 224, the long-awaited Serie B episode.
Serie B Spotlight, baby. Now, what is there to talk about when it comes to Serie B?
What isn't there to talk about?
You're kidding me. Of course, we have the newly promoted sides that will be in Serie A for the 2026-2027 season. So we'll be taking you through those teams. Take this as a Meet the Boys episode. After we introduce you to Venezia, Frosinone and Monza, we'll then break down just how Monza managed to make it through the playoffs into Serie A for the first time since their relegation, as they yo-yoed down and back up. We'll then take you through the relegated sides that... You mind if I start again?
Sure, bro.
Thank you.
Okay, how come?
I didn't like how it just has to be Venezia Frosinone breakdown, playoff and Monza.
Okay.
It needs to be more...
Alright.
I'm talking too much. Take two.
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Serie A Spotlight. We're your host Jake
and Matt.
And this is episode 224, the Serie B special.
Yes, welcome to Serie B Spotlight, should we say. Of course, Serie A is over, so we need to fill in our time and we need to fill in your time one way or another. This is how things are going to work this episode. We'll start things off by breaking down the three newly promoted sides. Of course, Venezia, Frosinone and Monza. We'll then let you know just how Monza made it back to Serie A, as they had to get through the playoffs, so we'll run you through the playoffs a little bit. We'll then talk a bit about the relegated sides that are going down to Serie C, the relegation playout, and some newly promoted teams from Serie C up to Serie B, in case that wasn't enough.
Very exciting stuff this season in Serie B. Just like every other season was extremely exciting. Every time you checked the table, it was close. You're wondering who's going to win it, who's going to make it to the playoffs. And there were some underdogs and some underperformers, actually. And we will get straight into them. But first, brother.
Yes. Massive shout out, of course, to our media partners, Benevo Bid. So check out the link in our bio to bid on autographed items from top players, including match-issued kits. And if you check out their socials, you can also find real footage of the players signing the merch. The most beautiful thing is, most of the proceeds go to charity, so click the link in our bio to help make a difference and upgrade your collection. And if you are new here, please make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter and YouTube, and drop us a 5-star rating on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. This really helps us grow and obviously makes us more respected among you folks. If you really love us and want early access, live episodes and much, much more, then become a patron. It's just $3.99 a month and you'll be added to a group chat with 70 plus like-minded legends, join our fantasy league and even win a free kit of your choice for winning the league. Once again, massive shout out to our champion, Alan. We love you, Alan. Respect, Alan.
Well done, Alan. I swear we'll send you the kit. We're going to do it today. I need to find out what size though first. We have a million questions. Like every week we have a new question for him.
Yeah.
Do you want this season's or last?
Yeah, look, if you join our community, you have to understand you're joining a community that is led by two people with ADHD. We're the worst, but we're also the best.
Yes.
Follow us.
We have our strengths and we have our weaknesses.
Of course. Jake, the table, brother.
So, without telling you exactly the points, because that would take forever, Venezia won Serie B. They finished first in the table. They actually won it by 1 point, as Frosinone were in second. That's 82 points for Venezia and Frosinone 81 points. And the rest, you have Monza, who finished in third, Palermo, Catanzaro, Modena, Stabia, Avellino, Mantova, Padova, Cesena, Carrarese, Sampdoria, Entella, Empoli, Südtirol, Bari, and the relegated three were Reggiana, Spezia, and Pescara.
Relegated 4, actually.
Relegated 4 because of a playout. But as I'm about to say, Südtirol and Bari, even though they did not finish on the same amount of points, had to play a relegation playout. Why, might you ask? Oh, it's because of this rule that was introduced in the 2003-2004 season. and it is set up to determine a fourth relegated team to Serie C. The last 3 teams are relegated directly, followed by the fourth last if the gap from fifth last exceeds 4 points. So to explain that a little bit simply, because they were only 1 point apart in 17th and in 16th, Sütterol finishing with 41 points and Bari finishing with 40 points, they had to play out final essentially, and the winner gets to stay in Serie B. It's over 2 legs, so 1 home, 1 away.
Yeah, if 16th were 5 points ahead of 17th, there's no reason for that game to be played. But anything 4 points or under, of course, there is a playout. As you guys know, the automatic promotion goes to the top 2 teams, which in this case were Venezia and Frosinone, who finished on 82 points and 81 points, and then a team from 3rd to 8th win the playoffs. So the teams that finish in 3rd and 4th automatically go to the semi-finals, and the teams that finish from 5th down to 8th need to play each other over a 1-legged match. So the way that works is that 5th play against 8th and 6th play against 7th. Of course, the favourable fixture is going to the teams that finish the highest up. So yep, Palermo, there were some surprises in this process, as for example, Palermo, who finished 4th, were eliminated by Catanzaro,
who finished 5th.
And Juve Stabia and Avellino made playoffs, finishing 7th and 8th, and Juve Stabia actually did pretty decently. The rules, so yep, teams finishing 3rd to 8th competed for the final playoff promotion spot. Crucially, if the aggregate was level after 2 legs, the higher ranked regular season team advances with no extra time and no away goal rule. This is absolutely crucial for you to remember, and we will remind you once we take you through the playoffs.
Yeah, and you'll probably be wondering if you watched the Serie B playoffs and you can see the aggregate score tied and it's the last minute and one of the opposing team's the opposing team goalkeepers in the box. Now you know why. It's because, of course, the highest seeding team, the team that finished in the highest position in the league table throughout the season has an advantage, and they go through in the event of a draw.
A significant advantage.
Yes,
and I have a lot to say about that.
Because we were actually discussing whether it's fair or not, right, bro? Because when you're watching a final, you kind of want the final to be decided based on the merit of the game, of the final itself, right?
Yeah. Like, why are you even doing playoffs if you're going to favor the league? Now, I think the most fair thing to do is 1st, 2nd, 3rd get promoted. But of course, we need to add a few more games to make a bit more money, right? So if you're going to do the playoffs, at least for the quarterfinal and the semi-final, let that rule stand. But if you make it to the final, which is already 2-legged and weird, for me a final should be 1 leg and the winner takes it all.
Yeah.
If it's 2 legs, let the team with the better aggregate go through, because otherwise, why the fuck are you even doing the playoffs in the first place? It was so anticlimactic. Spoiler alert, they finished 2-2 on aggregate, and the team that finished higher got promoted, them being Monza over Catanzaro, of course.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, you can't really argue that it's not deserved, because the standings,
No.
Catanzaro managed 59 points throughout the season, while Monza managed 76 points. So it is kind of fair, even though during the moment where you're watching the game and Catanzaro played so well that you end up rooting for them, right? But I guess it's only fair that the highest seeding team.
Yeah, that is fair. It just like, why are there the playoffs? That kind of pisses me off. I know it gives them the opportunity to disarm the team that finished above them, and the main goal is if you finish below this team, you need to beat them, which I guess is cool in its own right. I just think there's too many weird rules in the Serie B playoffs.
There are. Hilarious as well, the playout. So that match that we mentioned between 16th and 17th between Sütterol and Bari was played over 2 legs, both matches finishing 0-0 and therefore Bari getting relegated.
Either of those teams, just relegate them both, man.
Yeah,
if that's the case. No goals scored, both teams get relegated.
Quality, bro. The games are so low
Bring
quality.
up Milan Futuro.
Yeah. Bro, shall we start off by introducing Venezia?
Yes, I can take Venezia. So Venezia, most of you would remember, so just a little note over here. Venezia and Monza were actually in Serie A. How do I say this? Not this season, but last season. So they were in Serie A 2024-2025. They missed out this season as they were in Serie B, but they have yo-yoed right back up. Frosinone were actually in Serie A in the 23-24 season. So all three teams were in Serie A relatively recently. Monza and Venezia managed to retain most of their players, while Frosinone from Serie A, whilst of course Frosinone, their entire team was basically loaned in players, so it's a completely new look team now. But let's start things off with Venezia as we welcome them back to Serie A. They are an American-owned club. They are one of the more financially stable clubs in Serie A, perhaps not rich, but they are stable. Palermo are probably notoriously for being Citigroup, the richest club in Serie B, unless I am wrong.
You definitely are. In fact, back when Venezia were in Serie A, their best striker, Poyampalo, was signed halfway through the season by Venezia, by Palermo, who were in Serie B, because they managed to pay him more, basically. They managed to give him a much better contract.
Right. So I'm definitely right.
Yes.
No, you said you definitely are. Because I said, unless I am wrong, and you said you definitely are.
No, you definitely aren't.
Roasted for nothing. So, of course, Venezia, their final record is first with 82 points. They had 24 wins, 10 draws, and 4 losses. They scored 77 goals and conceded 31. That is a plus 46 goal difference for them. Their coach is, you guessed it, Giovanni Stroppa, because every season when there's a team promoted from Serie B to Serie A, Giovanni Stroppa is included over there. I am going to ask Jake to pull out the history of the teams that Giovanni Stroppa got promoted to Serie A. I believe Monza, where a team that he got promoted and he got sacked in Serie A. With them, well, you can take us through the rest of them. He was appointed on the 1st of July 2025, so a pre-season hiring. He opted for the 3-5-2 formation most predominantly, and his top scorer was Andrea Adorante, who got 17 goals in the league and in all competitions, basically. So Stroppa, just to take you through him, and then Jake will jump in over there. He is a 4-time Serie A promotion winner, and Venezia is exactly the kind of club that he has made his name with. Previously, he has been at Cremonese, where he earned promotion to Serie A via the playoffs. That was a very entertaining playoff that he had with Cremonese to get them promoted last season. He was appointed on the 1st of July 2025 on a 1-year contract with an option to extend upon promotion. He arrived with a clear mandate, which was very simple. Bounce back to Serie A, first attempt, absolutely no excuses. Have you found who he got promoted
Monza,
with?
Cremonese and Venezia for sure.
Probably Frosinone would be the other team, right? Unless I'm...
No, he never managed...
Crotone,
maybe, but I'm not sure if he took them up, so I'll double check that. Yes, automatic promotion. Yes,
so
Crotone.
read them out one more time,
So
please.
it's Monza, Cremonese, Venezia and Crotone. These are the teams he promoted to Serie A from Serie B.
Leave a comment below, let us know who is the expert of Serie B to Serie A. Is it Stroppa or is it Pippo Inzaghi, who also has a great record? I believe he's already taken 2 teams up to Serie A. But anyway. So when it comes to Stroppa, what kind of system and style does he operate, and how did Venezia play this season? So again, Stroppa operated in a 3-5-2 formation, and for me, the king in this team is absolutely Gianluca Busio. In the midfield, he is absolutely the midfield metronome for this team. Right next to him is another king that we unfortunately will not be seeing in Serie A, as he has just been signed by Sporting Lisbon. It is Issa Doumbia. So Busio is more of the metronome, controlling the pace of the game, albeit he does drag the ball forward quite a bit. Doumbia provided the physicality. Kiki Perez right next to them, and then was in charge of breaking the lines, getting closer to goal, having a chrach and playing that vertical pass. Sometimes Alfred Duncan was used in his stead. He was used to carry the ball forward through the middle and even to break down play. We all remember Alfred Duncan from his time in Serie A. But that is the what separates Venezia from the rest of the newly promoted teams is that midfield three. They were absolutely dominating Serie B for the duration of that campaign. They also had a special shout out goes to the wing backs in Heinout and Rigeciano, Haps, who offered width and energy. So
you remember Haps, man. Haps has been with Venezia this entire time. He was in Serie A with them when they were last there.
Of course, including Buzio as
of
well.
Course. So many of the guys actually stayed. And Hainout is familiar. He was definitely in Serie A before. I'm not sure who he was with, so I will check that out in the meantime, because that's very interesting.
Fantastic. There are three center backs in the 3-5-2. These are some of them are gonna ring a bell over here. So there are two absolutely non-negotiables were Michael Svoboda and Marin Zverko, who were also there 2 seasons ago in Serie A. They were their senior options, and they gave Venezia that compactness and just the ability to build the ball out from the back as far as Buzio and then let him do the rest. The two wing-backs were central to how Venezia played, Heinout on the right and Haps on the left. They provided with that the narrow three-at-the-back structure so desperately required. In possession, they effectively became... listen to this. This is what I love about the three-at-the-back. In possession, they became a 3-3-4, and then out of possession, they became a 5-3-2. This is the kind of industry you need in those wing-backs. Imagine on FM, if you were to do that, you put them as a right-back, and then you put them as a right-winger, you get that exclamation mark going, they're too far apart, they're too far apart.
They can't do both.
Not for Stroppa's system.
Not for Hainout, not for Haps. By the way, Hainout was at Parma. I thought I recognized him from 2022 to 2025, and he made 42 appearances over there.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. I won't go through the midfield again. Let me take you through the attack. Up front, this is of course where Venezia also thrived, and for me, they thrived due to one man, and that was Adorante, was their top scorer who ended the season with 17 goals. Think movement, think finishing inside and outside the box as an attacking reference point. Very creative with his finishing, and he can finish late runs. Couple penalties, not gonna lie. I was watching highlights and I'm like, oh, let me watch this game because Adorante scored in it. Another penalty. But quite inventive with his finishing, which was quite impressive. And 17 goals in Serie B is no easy feat. Of course, they also had someone like Yeboah who partnered up front with him, and he brought agility and dribbling and just a good piece for that counter-attacking style of football that Venezia, who had this explosiveness, was so good at. They also had Daniel Fila, who joined after Poyampalo's departure to Palermo, but he did end up leaving to Empoli in the winter market, so that was a very short spell for him.
Yeah, yep. I remember when Fila had joined after
in Serie A.
Yeah, in Serie A, but he really struggled, to be honest with you. He really hit the ground running whatsoever, and he was quite a downgrade. And Poyampalo, it wasn't like he was doing really well last time he was in Serie A. I remember him really struggling, and he had scored 6 by the halfway point, and many of them were penalties.
Yeah. I think he scored 2 goals from open play.
Yeah, something like that. Don't quote us, but he was struggling. But then Fila was brought in, Daniel Fila, and in 25 games total for Venezia, he only managed 4 goals, and that is across both Serie A and Serie B, of course.
Yeah, well, the guy that replaced Fila and then was, Lord help me with this name.
Oh, Loberbach?
Loberbach. That's actually great pronunciation, Jake. Well done. Loberbach. Loberbach excels at link-up play. Also, as you could probably tell by now, you need someone to support Adorante. Adorante is there to finish the move, and then be it Loberbach or Yeboah, they need someone that can either link the midfield to the attack, or perhaps someone that can, carry the ball forward from that midfield position. When it can't be us talking about Venezia if we didn't highlight their goalkeeper, though. Filip Stankovic. Of course, most of you would know that family name. He achieved 7 clean sheets in the first 17 matches, and Venezia's final goals conceded tally was that of just 31, which was the best defensive record in the division alongside Frosinone's 34. Why the hell did I write it like that? Stroppa is known for being able to create a team that holds their shape and progresses with caution, progresses with anchors. That's why he prefers the 3 at the back formation. Even if the wingers are going up, they're typically quite interchangeable in the sense if the right goes up, the left goes back. But those 3 absolutely provide that anchor that is so desperately needed in Serie B. So that is, in a nutshell, how Stroppa likes to play and how Venezia like to play. Now, how did their season go? It wasn't easy for Venezia to finish in first place. In fact, they only did win the league by a singular point over Frosinone. They didn't dominate from the first week. The turning point, in fact, came in autumn when finally things started clicking for them. Keep in mind, this was Stroppa's first season at them. But the great thing about this was he found a team that was ready to play, a team that had just been relegated. So as long as they have someone like Stroppa who could instill some kind of formational discipline, some structure, and then give them that grit that they need to bounce right back up, then that is all that was needed over there.
They were just very difficult to play against because of how narrow the shape is. Granted, those fullbacks add a little bit of depth, but most of the players occupy the central position on the pitch.
And that's where they wanted to play.
Yeah.
It's trap inside for you friggin' FM heads. So they, once it clicked, they went on an 8-game winning streak before they lost to Modena. But then they went on a 14-match unbeaten run that effectively ended the title race. Their biggest win was a 4-0 victory at Cesena in October of 2020.
Yeah, and that was away from home, the biggest away win. It's fucking crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The key players, I would say the top players that got them promotion to Serie A. Filip Stankovic, the Serbian goalkeeper, who was obviously being watched closely by Inter. Commanding his area, great shot stopping. Just go watch highlights and he'll always stand out to you simply. Buzio, metronome. I can't believe he's not called up for the American USMNT because he's a very technically gifted. He can score free kicks because he did score a few free kicks this season. He can carry the ball forward. He can play centre back. He can distribute the ball well and cleanly, and he's very press resistant. He's very physical as well. Buzio is someone that has 2 seasons experience in Serie A, if not more. It's escaping me right now, but even just in this competitive league, he was absolutely dominant, one of the best midfielders in the league by far.
2 of the Americans that were brought in by Venezia 2 years ago, both of them weren't called up to the
Tessman, right?
Yeah, Tessman, and he's playing in France now. Tessman. To be honest, that's more of a surprise exclusion than Buzio. Because you can understand, okay, maybe Buzio's playing in the second division in Italy, you know? I mean, granted, they won the bloody league. But top division in France, you'd expect him to get a call up, eh?
Yeah, send a scout. They won't come back with good feedback on Buzio. But anyway, maybe the World Cup is a big stage for Buzio. Maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, I don't know. Heinout, of course, both wing backs really, but Heinout's crossing is fantastic. He got quite a number of assists and he just covers ground. Heinout, he's up and down, and I think he was one of the best wing backs in the division last season. And then of course, how could you have someone that scored 17 goals and not shout him out? It's Andrea Adorante, top scorer, focal point of the attack. Well, top scorer for Venezia. Of course, the overall top scorer was Joel Poyampalo. He's a traditional centre forward who makes late runs. He wins aerial duels and he finishes with composure. He had a great partnership with everyone he played aside. He's very easily serviceable.
Heinout, by the way, is French, so it's probably Heinout.
I know.
Yeah. A friend of mine was taking the piss today. He said, imagine you're born speaking a language like you're French, right? And to ask someone for water, you have to go. That's what water is in French, no?
I thought, oh,
can you pass me the?
I thought was like for the fragrances, like eau de toilette.
Uh-huh.
Is eau de toilette toilet water?
Toilet water, that's what.
Christ.
So it's probably Ainu.
I knew.
Ainu has 5 goals and 5 assists in the league from fullback, from
Wow.
wingback. So that's very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the most impressive. There is one person we still haven't spoken about. We'll speak about him soon. Who's more impressive than that?
Of course, coming soon to a cinema near you. 5 goals, 3 assists for Haps on the other side.
Mhm. My question is, do you think Stroppa will remain at Venezia in Serie A? Just to take you back to his Serie A record when he was there, at Pescara he was sacked and the club was effectively relegated. At Crotone he was sacked and the club was effectively relegated. At Monza he was sacked after around 9 games, and then Palladino went on this crazy streak and got them 10th place. So Stroppa fucking knows his place. It's Serie B. Do you think he'll give it another bash in Serie A? Do you think the club is willing to show faith in
I
him?
think they will, considering he got the automatic promotion and the trophy. But if it's the right call, might be another question. I mean, he knows the group. If the club is willing to invest, why not? Honestly, I think he's in for a tough ride regardless, because they've already sold a very important player, and I'm not sure how much they're willing to reinvest. I mean, again, they are not a poor club by any means, but they are not a totally rich club.
Yeah, but
so they will make some smart investments. I
last
think.
time they got promoted to Serie A, there was no investment. There was no signing of players, and we said, okay, maybe they really trust their group, but is Stroppa really willing to take a club that got with the same 11 that got relegated from Serie A to Serie B, to take them back up and hope things are going to change?
The problem was that last time they got promoted, they invested a lot, but in foreign talent. They didn't bring any players who actually know the ins and outs of the league and what Serie A
a
is
lot
like.
of gambles.
A lot of gambles,
really.
exactly. So I think they need to play it a little bit safer. Funnily enough, a little bit similar to what Cremonese did this season, except if Stroppa goes on a 15-game not unbeaten, unvictorious run, then maybe he deserves to get the sack in that case, unlike Cremonese, who decided to hold on until they actually dipped their toes into the relegation pool, and then they decided, okay, time for a change, and they got relegated anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting to see. But Venezia back in Serie A is always fun for the sick drip, the curva on the gondole. So we can't complain about having Venezia back in
For those
in Serie A.
of you who do not know, you actually get to their stadium by gondola, which is absolutely amazing. So the scenes before every match are amazing, and it's nice to have a stadium like this. You have Como with their nice view. It's going to look completely different next year because they've already started the refurbishments. They started them a while ago, actually. We have mini acute stadium as well, with Monza and Venezia coming up now.
Yeah, it's with Venezia. If they once again, because this happened twice since we've had the podcast, get promoted, get relegated immediately, get promoted, get relegated immediately. So far, this is the third pattern of the yo-yo. If they get relegated again, it completes a 3-time yo-yo of going up and coming back down. Let's see Venezia survive next season.
Yeah.
Something needs to change in the approach when they get promoted to Serie A.
Yeah.
Full stop. Brother.
Absolutely.
Frosinone.
Before we move on to Frosinone, I want to point out that Stroppa was actually a player back in the day, and he did feature for Milan. He started off his career as a player with Milan. He was quick, he was energetic, but he was quite injury prone. He was known for his tactical ability and his ability to create chances for his teammates. He has also featured as a support striker, a winger, an attacking midfielder, a central midfielder, deep-lying playmaker. He used to play absolutely everywhere where you can be creative, and he featured for the likes of Milan, Monza, Lazio, Foggia, Udinese, Piacenza, Brescia, Genoa, Avellino, Foggia, an absolute journeyman.
He has 47 goals in 463 games. He also represented Italy 4 times.
Yeah, crazy, yeah.
Go Stroppa.
Go Stroppa. That takes us to Frosinone, though, bro. Frosinone, of course, finishing second, were the other automatically promoted team, and they had one hell of a season. So let's get straight into them. So they appointed Alvini as the manager to lead them this season. But this we've already done it, right, bro? I mean, this is
Given-
just the position. Okay, they finished second with 81 points. They had 23 victories, 12 draws, and 3 losses. They scored 76 goals and conceded 34 with a plus 42 goal difference. That's absolutely amazing. The coach that I was talking about, Massimiliano Alvini, took over in the mid 2024-2025 season and continued throughout this season. They played primarily a 4-3-3. with different variations, of course, including a 3-5-2 and a 4-2-3-1. Their top scorer was Fares Gedyemis with 15 goals. Antonio Raimundo scored 11 goals. I remember him as a youngster coming up the ranks at Bologna, if I'm not mistaken,
wow.
Raimundo, bro.
Wow.
If you want to
Loch.
check how old he is nowadays and if he was indeed actually at Bologna. Yeah, Giacomo Carlo was the main playmaker of the team, 10 goals and 15 assists. He's the division's leading assist maker, absolutely stunning player.
Of course, Jake is right. He did come up through the Bologna youths. That is Antonio Raimondo,
How old
the
is he
centre
nowadays?
forward. He's 22 years old,
22
still
years old.
quite young.
Nice.
And was actually loaned out to Frosinone from Bologna.
So he's still owned by Bologna.
He is
okay.
still owned by
I
Bologna.
think 11
yes.
goals is quite a successful loan spell in Serie B.
Yeah,
Not
is
easy,
he
huh?
still owned by... Yeah, he is on loan from Bologna. That expires. Yep, he'll be back in 11 days.
Yeah. The appointment of Alvini, bro, for Frosinone, of course, the coach, seemed a little bit strange coming into when it happened. Sorry, because he had just come off quite a few difficult seasons at Cremonese and at Cosenza. However, he did silence the critics. And they ended the first half of the season as league leaders, and it only took a massive, unstoppable run by Venezia for him to actually get displaced. He is a disciplined and organized coach who places great emphasis on collective shape and tactical flexibility. He described his system as propositivo e relazionale, which is, dare I attempt to translate? Probably not.
Bro, total football.
Total
football.
Yes. In fact, he built a 4-3-3 based around Carlo's geometry. Okay. And the unpredictability, of course, of the wide forwards, which is something we remember very clearly from the last time Frosinone were in Serie A, as they had two very unpredictable wingers, one of them being Sule, who is now at Roma, of course, and the other one being Arjon Ibrahimovic.
Oh
Remember
my
him?
God, yes.
Formerly of Bayern Munich. God knows where he is.
He had gone to Lazio at a point, had he not?
He had gone
He
to
had
Lazio,
gone
bro,
to Lazio,
actually.
and they did nothing with him.
They didn't even play him, actually. I wonder where he is nowadays.
I'll
Arjon
find
Ibrahimovic. No relation to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, of course.
Yeah. Is he in the second division in Germany, dude, right now? He is representing, his current club is Heidenheim.
Heidenheim.
He's on loan from Bayern.
So he's still Bayern owned.
He's still Bayern
This entire
owned.
time he's been Bayern owned. That's
Yep.
crazy. Okay. So, as we have already said, the base formation was a 4-3-3 for Frosinone, though Alvini had no problem shifting to a 3-5-2, 4-2-3-1, depending on the opposition, whatever. In the final promotion clinching game against Mantova, for example, they lined up in a 4-2-3-1 with Palmisani in goal, Oyono and Bracaglia as the wide defenders, Cittadini and Monterisi as the centre-backs, with Cicchella and Carlo as a double pivot, in front of the back four, with Gedyemis, Gelli and Gvernadze behind a lone Raimundo. Gvernadze, is the Georgian player who is hailed to be the new Guevara.
Guevara has just burst into the scene 3 years ago, and they already knew Guevaras.
That's how you know you've done it, bro. I remember
Yeah.
the new Donnarumma when he was like 22.
The new Theo Walcott.
Who was, bro? There was a player, Saponara was the new Kaká back in the day, remember that?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes, they were right.
they were right. They were...
Ballon d'Or winner,
Uh-huh.
Ricardo Saponara.
Yeah.
Signed for Real Madrid for 56 million euros.
Yeah. So Frosinone's football was built on a few non-negotiables. So high pressing without the ball was a mainstay in their system, no matter what formation they played. Quick vertical transitions when winning the ball, and an overload of technical quality in the front third. Carlo was the brain. He positioned himself centrally, and he dictated when to press, when to hold, and when to play the ball over the top. His combinations with Galliani and the runs of Raimundo created the most fluid attacking unit in Serie B this season. So yes, bro, Carlo is absolutely unreal, bro. Double figures with goals, 10. Double figures with assists, 15. And leading the championship with that number.
As a box-to-box midfielder. As a box-to-box midfielder. And then this is the thing.
With the vision of a playmaker.
You get hyped about, oh my God, there's this player, Carlo, in Serie B. My God, I think Milan could use someone like him. I think Roma should sign him. Then you look, he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
Where's he been?
Where's he been all his life, this guy, bro?
Hey, man.
Hit me up,
Carlo,
tell me about his career.
I'm gonna tell you, dude. Firstly, 5th of February 1997. Almost your birthday, but my birth year.
Yeah. Wild.
22 days. He was born exactly 22 days before me. But he's an Aquarius. Dude, 37 games, 10 goals, 15 assists in Serie B last season. Carlo, playing as a central midfielder, occasionally a defensive midfielder. He has played for Sampdoria, Juve Stabia, Genoa, Pordenone, Benevento, Cosenza.
Benevento. I think I remember Carlo and Benevento.
I think I do, bro. I think I do as well. I think I do as well.
What year was it? When was it then?
2022.
That must be it. He was probably playing when Brignoli scored against Milan.
No, Milan won the league in 2022.
Yes, you're
Brignoli
right.
would not have scored again.
No.
Cosenza, Cesena, and Frosinone. An absolute
So no, we don't remember him with Benevento.
journeyman.
Yeah. Okay.
7 yellow cards as well. So he's got fucking
naughty.
nuts. He's got nuts on him.
Exactly. One of his goals this season was a free kick from the halfway line that bounced in off a disorganized Süttirol wall. Yes, we have to also talk about Gediemis, brother. Gediemis went from 2 goals in the previous season to 15 this campaign. He defined Frosinone's season. He was the best rated in their team overall across 18 games. He managed an average of 6.64 rating on TMW. I'm not sure what TMW is actually.
Right.
But
Transfer market website. But
maybe, but it's extraordinary basically. And he was a cut above the rest. He's Algerian. He plays on the left of a front three. He loves to cut inside and to drive at defenders, and he can finish with both feet. Nice partnership with anyone who he was paired up with, by the way.
yeah.
And for
he's actually 23, and then so he's got quite a future ahead of him. That's 15 goals, 3 assists for him.
That's good.
Yeah, Algerian, French. He can play both on the left and on the right.
I wonder if he'll be at the World Cup. Algerian, he might be. Unless he decided to represent France. Then he definitely won't be.
I'll find out.
Yeah. So we did a sweepstake at work. I got Argentina, brother.
Oh,
Argentina
not bad.
Win. I got 96
not bad.
euro.
So Gediemis would probably be under strikers.
Yeah. Forwards, yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, he is there. He's there.
He's
Far
at the
as
World Cup.
Gediemis. Watch him in the World Cup. We'll keep
an
you
eye on him.
updated on him as the summer goes on.
Exactly. The goal scoring spread at Frosinone was one of the most interesting things and impressive things about them. Gediemis scored 15, Raimundo 11, Carlo 10, Kutsupias 8. That's pretty remarkable, man. They managed to get goals from
everywhere, bro.
And that's absolutely thanks to the work of Alvini when it comes to distributing the attacking load. Absolutely amazing. So Frosinone, of course, as you can hear, we're not a defensive team whatsoever. In fact, they love to attack, but they are very organized. Their goalkeeper, Palmisani, recorded 7 clean sheets in the first 17 matches, finishing with only 34 goals conceded in 38 games. That reflects, of course, a very cohesive back four. Oyono, at right back, was one of the best in the division, absolutely amazing, athletic, energetic, contributed going forward, and was very disciplined in recovery. And then you had the centre-back partnership of Cittadini and Monterisi, which was very consistent, if not spectacular, to be honest, because a back-two partnership that clicks like that looks amazing, man, honestly.
Monterisi, I remember him in Serie A, man. Now that's either with Frosinone or it's with another team. He was at Frosinone in 2022, so we would have seen him in Serie A. I clearly remember the name Monterisi. I think he scored a couple of goals in Serie A as well.
Monterisi definitely rings a bell, bro.
Played for Lecce as well.
Yeah, and Oyono, bro, by the way, has also been at Frosinone for a long time. He's been there since 2022. He's managed 97 appearances for them. And he plays for the Gabon national team as well, Oyono. Very, very good player. He's 25 years old nowadays. I wonder if any clubs will be looking at him. Yeah. Okay, the key numbers that define their defense is the transformation, in Frosinone was 43 points on one season to 81, 37 goals scored to 76 goals scored, 50 goals conceded to 34 goals conceded. That is an absolute rebuild and a change in identity under the same coach, by the way. Yeah. So this is very good work by Alvini, to be honest with you.
Completely,
and it won't go unnoticed. This type of work
absolutely
gets rewarded, as we saw with Aquilani and Abate.
Of course.
Aquilani has joined Sassuolo and Abate has joined Torino.
Amazing, man. Yes. So exciting, man. Frosinone, bro. I mean, there isn't much else to add apart from that. They were definitely one of the most offensive and exciting teams in the division. They have this kind of philosophy where they want to use youth. The last time they were in Serie A, if you remember, bro, they had way too many players on loan. Yep.
Which ends up almost becoming a team of players playing for their own careers more than playing for the team. So I hope that this time they manage to balance it out by bringing in some exciting players on loan, sure, because it's necessary, but also by investing and actually having players who are owned by the club.
And Frosinone, last time they were in Serie A, they were very entertaining, bro. Very exciting as a team. And it's good to see that this is almost like a philosophy that Frosinone have. Because for me, out of the three newly promoted teams, they're by far the most entertaining. You know, they play a 4-3-3. They give liberty to their attacking three, but then they're super organized off the ball and have that controlled kind of chaos about them. So I'm excited to see them back in Serie A, hopefully keeping some of their mainstays. We already just found out that another one of their key players is on loan with them. But welcome back to Serie A Frosinone.
So the two teams we have just spoken about, Venezia and Frosinone, were two teams that were last relegated by Di Francesco.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But now we can move on, brother, to the winners of the Serie B playoffs. Of course, after we introduce these guys, we will be running you through the playoffs and explaining to you how they went down. But first, brother, take it away.
Exactly. So Monza, you guys, if you listen to us and you've been listening to us for a couple of years now, you'd have heard us covering Monza for 2 to 3 seasons that they spent in Serie A before they got relegated. They finished third this season, of course, got promoted through the playoffs, but was well deserved because they were only 5 points behind the team that finished second, a couple points ahead of Palermo, and then they finished third on 76 points. They had 22 wins, 10 draws and 6 losses. They scored 61 goals and conceded 32. That's a goal difference of 29. Their coach was Paolo Bianco, who liked to play in the Gasperini style, right? 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2, completely interchangeable according to the opponent and who is fit. Their top scorer was none other than friend of the show, gentleman Andrea Petagna. 8 goals and 31 appearances. Shout out Andrea if you're listening. For those of you that don't know, Jake and I met Petagna.
Yes.
And it was hilarious. We
Everything
were
about that holiday was
smashed. We were
hilarious.
smashed.
We bought the wrong tickets. We were meant to be behind the stands with the Cagliari faithful, but the whole process was in Italian.
Instead, we're on the bench.
And we ended up literally like with the bench right in front of us, with Lapadula and Viola sat down right in front of us, and the injured Petagna temporarily taking a seat right next to us in the stands, which was absolutely
So
crazy.
funny. Petagna.
Hilarious. I couldn't believe
Possibile un foto con il mio fratello.
it. Per favore.
Per favore. I completely interrupted a kid trying to take a photo with them.
Ciao, Andrea. Come sta?
The 27-year-old guy interrupting the child. Hey.
The 27-year-old obviously drunk guy.
Smashed, bro. With a coffee bean in my pocket. For good luck. But anyway, this isn't all about Petagna. It's about the coach Paolo Bianco, who also loved Petagna. He is a
Try that again.
He is a methodical, tactically disciplined coach who had been working within Monza's structure for a number of years, but now he has gotten the opportunity to take the top job. He was promoted by Andrea Galliani, who again was very clear to him, much like Venezia with Stroppa, get back to Serie A at the first attempt or you're out. Galliani made it clear. Now, obviously, keep in mind, Monza are owned by the Berlusconi family. Galliani, who had worked with Berlusconi for all those years, he doesn't want his late friend's club to be a Serie B team. For him, Monza need to establish themselves in Serie A. It was embarrassing for Monza to get relegated back down to Serie B with the team they had. You're kidding me? So Galliani made it clear, you need to get Monza back to Serie A or you're out, and we'll find someone else. We'll just hire Pippo Inzaghi or Stroppa to do that for you.
Fun fact about this manager is he was hired as part of Roberto De Zerbi's first team technical staff at Sassuolo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Bianco.
Okay, so, and maybe you'll see some similarities between the two coaches. His approach throughout the season was cautious and pragmatic. It reeked of, I can't make a mistake or I'll lose my job. He continuously stated he had no room for experimentation, relying on those who gave him more security rather than using rotation for his own sake. Just to say it before I say it again, the one thing that he had in his favor was having a sporting director or CEO, I don't even know his exact role, but is having someone like Galliani who understands the game, understands the system
market
the manager is implementing, and then having all those connections and being able to bring you the players you actually need. Because I'll get to it. So the system and style. So like I said, 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2 used interchangeably, sometimes even in the same match. The back three was always a non-negotiable. It's Carboni, Delle Ciarri, and either Ravanelli or Lucchesi. Carboni, I can't believe he's still at Monza. Probably because he didn't improve at the rate at which most of us thought he would, but when he entered Serie A for the first time with Monza, everyone said, look, this guy is the real deal, Carboni, and he's gonna, sky is the limit, but maybe next season is his season in Serie A. Birindelli and Azzi are the wing backs, and I absolutely adore Birindelli and Azzi. You'll remember Azzi from Cagliari over the past few seasons. Birindelli, where was Birindelli?
Birindelli was at Monza.
Was at Monza.
Monza the last time they were in Serie A.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Left wing back and right wing back.
Yeah.
Azzi, 5 goals, 6 assists. 5 goals, 6 assists from left wing back. Birindelli, 5 goals, 2 assists. Incredible utilization of these wing backs by Bianco.
You'll remember Birindelli's father, Alessandro Birindelli of Juventus.
Oh, wow.
196 appearances for Juve.
2 goals.
Back from 1997 to 2008.
Jeez, he would have gone down to Serie B with them, dog.
Yeah.
Birindelli, look at that.
Birindelli.
Lengthy, dude. Lengthy.
All 5'9" of him. That's what of course you're going to say lengthy, you're 5'9".
Yeah, but I'm 5'9", but I have long legs. It's true.
Your proportions are good for 5'9", so you're saying. So you're saying there's 5'9", but bad proportions.
Of course, bro, there's 6 foot and bad proportions.
So you're 5'9" and all torso, like.
No, bro. There are 5'9" and all torso.
Yeah.
Firstly, I'm 5'8". I'm
correction.
I'm 5'9" with Doc Martens.
Okay.
Or with football shoes. There I'm 5'9". So technically in the football world I am 5'9".
5'9",
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am not all torso. I'm absolutely not all torso. I have nice long runner legs. Guys, keep that please.
Keep that in mind.
Please.
And that is Matt from Serie A
That
Spotlight.
is Matt from
remember,
Serie A
not
Spotlight.
Jake.
Daddy long legs
As
call
people
me.
often come up to me and say, "What the hell did you say on the podcast?" I'm like, bro, that was my brother. That was my brother, man. That was Matt. I'm Jake. We sound the same.
No, I'm
Our
Jake.
grandma on the phone. No, I'm Jake. Our grandma on the phone has a nightmare every time. She gets it wrong every single time without fail.
Hilarious. She calls us
Yeah.
now, our grandma.
She used to
calls
back in
us
the day.
She used to.
Yeah, but back when we, of course, had the landline at home.
The question is, have your say in the comments. What do you think happened between us and our grandma? This shape gave Monza width through the wing backs, defensive compactness to the three-man line, and significant creative freedom to the double tens operating behind the striker. Monza were not a high press, high tempo side in the way like Frosinone or Catanzaro, where their football was more patient, possession focused in the first half of matches, with a tendency to be cautious early and then impose themselves in the second period, often through substitutions that changed the dynamic entirely. I have two things to say about that. A, is Bianco the Allegri of Serie B, with the quiet first half and then the amazing second half? Second thing I want to say, this is absolutely the pro of the depth that Monza have, because if there is one thing Monza had over anyone else in the league, it's their sheer depth.
Yeah.
And it's of course because they have a decent financial backing. They have someone like Galliani, who I will tell you soon what he did in January just to keep things competitive for Monza, but they absolutely have a super deep squad.
Which
so
is
those second half,
extremely important for the playoffs, especially.
and to have an industrious team.
Yeah.
Because if you have a deep squad, you can run players to the fucking ground
Yeah.
in the first half. Multiple reports from across the season describe a similar pattern. Monza often struggled to create in the first half, with Bianco then using multiple substitutions simultaneously to change the game, and it simply worked repeatedly, time after time after time. Remember Matteo Pessina? Matteo
The fulcrum. Yeah, I remember Pessina. Pessina, of course, was a Milan youth product. He went to Atalanta and ended up at Monza, and we thought that it was going to be like
It's a huge signing for Monza.
Ah,
oh my
massive-
God, they signed
massive signing
Pessina,
back then.
who just scored in the Euros. He
Of
had scored
course.
in the Euros, playing in the number 10 role for the Italian national team.
He-
He's a 6 now.
And we thought that it was going to be like a stepping stone move, but he actually stuck around and became captain and leader of this Monza team.
Bro, he is the fulcrum of this team. No, number 6. He is the metronome, but he's also he's great at winning the ball. He's great at entering duels as well. He's developed into quite a physical, good number 6. He's very intelligent on the ball. He has great composure. He's very press resistant, and just the best thing about him is his understanding of the game and how he positions himself tactically to be the anchor of the team. So even though he's great close to goal, you don't see him close to goal anymore, Pessina, unless he knows that there's his right-hand man or his left-hand man who is providing that stability. Those wingers were allowed to roam so freely up and get those goals because Pessina was that anchor at the back, and he would dictate as the captain, you stay with me, you go up, you know, just an absolute, he was probably the most important player, first name of the team sheet, absolute leader of this team. He scored 5 goals, 3 of which were penalties. We remember me taking him on Fanta for his penalties.
Yeah, we all remember that.
You do. I would have spoken about it a lot on the show. Here at day 1, you know, I took Pessina for his penalties. And then January came.
Ring, ring.
Hello, this is Galliani speaking.
Hello. Hernani. Come to me.
He decided, look, I am going to sign everyone. No. He brought in 3 key players, and his goal over here was, I need to shake things up. We need to spend the second half of the season with an unpredictable squad. We need to change things up. People are getting used to us now. They're getting used to Petagna up front. They're getting used to Colpani. They're getting used to Dani Mota. So what does he do? He signs Cutrone from Parma. He signs Hernani from Parma as well. And he signs Caso. And they all arrived in the January transfer market just to shake things up and offer something different. And these all, bro, they were all super important because
in the playoffs, especially, they all scored. All
bro, Hernani scored the second goal of the playoff finals. Cutrone scored in both playoff semi-final legs, and Caso provided assists and directness in the final.
And the goals that were scored, bro. Hernani scored the goal of the playoffs in general.
The goal of the
Zaroli
season
had
in Serie B.
had a bicycle kick, okay, but there was nothing compared to the rocket that Hernani scored against Catanzaro. Caso also scored a really nice solo goal on the counter in one of the games. I think it was actually that one as well, the same game. Against Catanzaro. And Cutrone, of course, was the hero in the
Doppietta.
game against Juve Stabia, where he scored one of his goals from half pitch after the goaler had gone up.
Insane. The Doppietta over there.
Yeah.
Hernani, excluding the playoff, scored 5 goals after arriving in January as a central midfielder. But time to talk about Mr. Untouchable. As I didn't call him that. Bianco called him that, all right?
He called him untouchable.
Untouchable.
You know, boy.
Andrea Petagna. Because
his
look,
nickname used to be the Bulldozer.
the Bulldozer. But you know what? I'm pissed, man.
Why are you pissed, man?
I'm pissed.
Why?
It's not a good way to describe Petagna. They're just looking at his body and going, he's big, he's a bulldozer.
You think they're fat shaming him?
I think they're fat shaming Petagna. A bulldozer is Ronaldo Fenomeno, who is bulldozing through defenses. Petagna is he puts his body on the strike. He's a
I think
Lukaku, bro.
Fenomeno is way too elegant to be called a bulldozer, though.
But he's a bulldozer.
I know what you mean. Yes, he's a bulldozer in ballet shoes.
He's a bulldozer with a Ferrari engine, you know. But Petagna is a hold-up play kind of striker, man. With his back towards goal, he is the Lukaku equivalent for Serie B.
Yes.
That is the kind of play he gives you. 8 goals. It's not crazy, but Monza got goals from everywhere. He was the guy involving Dani Mota. He was the guy involving Pessina. He was the guy involving Hernani, Colpani, and all these guys. They have enough quality all round. Mr. Untouchable. Behind Petagna, the double tens were where Monza created their attacking movements, right? They were given that free role. They had Colpani and Mota as the primary options, with then Hernani and Giuseppe Caso coming in to alter the game from the bench, or like I said, post-January. And of course, and then the wing-backs also were allowed to play thanks to the hold-up play of Petagna. But then Petagna started seeing less game time. He was more interchangeable because someone like Patrick Cutrone came in, who arrived in January and provided 4 goals in 15 appearances, excluding the playoffs. And he was just, he's a striker with a lot of Serie A experience. He was one of the key figures that got Milan 5th under Gattuso, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. When it comes to their defense, and then 32 goals conceded in 38 games, a goals against record of 0.84 goals conceded per match, the joint best alongside Venezia and Frosinone. Their back three was extremely hard to break down, and the main thing about Monza this season was their home record. 14 wins, 4 draws, and just 1 defeat at the U-Power Stadium. Absolutely amazing. Their goalkeeper was very impressive as well. That is Demba Thiam, or Demba Chiam, if it's pronounced the same way as Chow, with the Thiam. Fantastic goalkeeper, good handling, a great throw on him. Kind of reminds me of that goalkeeper Nottingham Forest have that used to catch the ball with one hand and then just toss it to fucking 100 yards.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Plays in France now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monza were actually throughout the season they were first at a point, they were second at a point, and then they dropped down to third. They were always in the mix, and a lot of us I thought that they were going to get automatic promotion, but the Venezia and Frosinone only just managed to edge that. But great season by Monza. The slip up kind of started in February. Well, the race for automatic promotion was a genuine three-way fight until February. Monza then slipped, dropping 6 points to Venezia and 5 to Frosinone. So it was pretty much because of their direct encounters against the bigger teams where they lost that. They also got 6 defeats. Probably, half of those would have come against the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, great season by Monza.
You know who disappointed me, and he's 27 years old nowadays, man? Colpani playing for this team. I mean, only managed 2 goals and an assist. I remember his breakout season. That was those 6 months. I think it was even shorter, 4 months in Serie A. He was so good. You remember him?
When he was at Monza and
with
Serie A.
Palladino.
Yes,
Oh
with
my
Palladino.
God, man,
Then
he
Palladino took him to Fiorentina with him.
Yes,
and
which was
he
way too big a step, but he dipped before he went to Fiorentina.
Mm-hmm.
He changed. He had already changed.
He had a great start to that season with Monza. The second half of his season wasn't great. He wasn't contributing as much. And I remember he had like 6 goals that season, and he had a brace at a point,
Bro, he loses possession 10 times a game and completes 33% of his dribbles every game. And he wins 49% of his duels.
But aura, because he has long hair. Right over the 90s.
Really disappointing. And honestly, if I were him at this point, I'd do another season in Serie B. He's 27. He's going to go to Serie A. He's going to get benched. He's not going to play much.
Hell nah, I'd go to Serie A.
Hell nah.
Yeah. So, I think the question on everyone's lips is, yes, Monza finished third. But that wasn't enough to get them automatic promotion like it did for Venezia and Frosinone. So, how did they get there? Of course, it was through the playoffs that take place between 3rd and 8th. Would you like me to take our listeners through who their competition was throughout the playoffs, like the teams that participated in the playoffs, and then you can take us through the games and how they went down. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So Monza need no introduction, coached by Paolo Bianco. I already gave you a full breakdown on that. They finished third, so they automatically went to the semi-finals, joined by Palermo, coached by Filippo Inzaghi. It was a shock that Palermo didn't do more to get promoted. They are the glamour club of Serie B. They have the best support in the entire league, no matter what game it is. Completely sold out arena. Their highest attendance of the season was 32,922 against Modena, the highest gate in the entire division. Under Pippo Inzaghi, Palermo played an attacking 4-3-3 built on the talents of Joel Poyampalo, Jeremy Laduron, and Dennis Jonsson as the front 3. Yes, that Dennis Jonsson. Palermo and Frosinone both enjoyed 14 match unbeaten runs during the regular season, the joint longest in the division. Their midfield triangle of Ranocchia, Segre, and Palumbo was excellent. Defensively, Patrick Peda at the centre-back was their standout. The problem for them was knowing Pippo Inzaghi, and this is how he had gotten relegated with Benevento. It's that high defensive line, bro. That high line and possession-based build-up, which keeps them completely vulnerable to counter-attacks against compact, transition-oriented sides, which is exactly what Catanzaro, spoiler alert, exploited. Palermo averaged 54.9% possession in the Catanzaro leg 1. They dominated the ball, but the problem is they scored nothing.
So Palermo are obviously owned by the City Group, and everything, their entire strategy is based around getting Serie B and Serie A proven personnel to get them that promotion that they are dreaming of. Pippo Inzaghi has become somewhat of a Serie B promotion specialist. The players that you mentioned, bro, most of them have all played in Serie A, Dennis Jonsson and Poyampalo especially. Palumbo is a Serie B mainstay. You'll remember him from Modena.
Yep.
He was always one of the best attacking midfielders in the league. They signed him up. They brought in the likes of Augello, the Cagliari fullback
Yeah, man.
who was playing in Serie A for so long. Jazi, who has a lot of Serie A experience as well.
Empoli right wing back.
Yeah, and obviously they maintained and kept the talent that they have in Ranocchia. Segre has been at Palermo for ages, and even the likes of Gomez have been there for very long.
Yeah, Magnani at the back.
Yeah, I mean, Bani as well has been around as well, Ceccaroni too. They are honestly a team. They are the best team in Serie B, technically. They're the richest, the most formidable. And the thing that surprises me every time I watch them is how direct they play, man. Like, every time they get the ball within the opponent's half, it's everyone in the box and a cross over the top to look for a knockdown. Every time.
Yeah. It's very it's
Route one, man.
Pippo Inzaghi's style. They play nice football. They love playing on the front foot. I think Palermo will be up next season, man. I think they have a very sustainable project. They have rich owners.
Yeah.
But they have rich owners, but you could see from the way they signed players, how they got Poyampala and Augella out of their Serie A clubs to come give their Serie B side that kind of reinforcement. They're a couple of signings away, man. I hope they stick to Pippo and
they will.
They find success.
Yeah, probably they will.
Now, the team that... low-key, I might drop Milan for them.
Bro, the team that won everyone's hearts this
God,
season.
and it's not the first time. Last season they underperformed. The season before they were in the playoffs. And
who was their manager when they were playing tiki-taka? Man, who was their manager?
Find it, dude. Find it. Catanzaro manager 23-24. I want to know, dude. Because God, and their manager this time was none other than Alberto Aquilani, and they didn't play bad football under him, guys.
You remember Aquilani from Milan, from Liverpool, from Fiorentina, I believe?
Yeah, totally. Fifth, they finished fifth with 59 points. They were unbeaten in 16 of their last 17 home Serie B games going into the playoffs. Aquilani, formerly Roma, Liverpool and Italy midfielder, managing his second senior club at 41. Built a 3-4-2-1 system defined by vertical pressing, high-intensity transitions, and a direct attacking style. Their system is pure Aquilani. The three defenders push high, the wing-backs attack aggressively, and the two tens, Liberali and Pittarello or Gemello, dropped deep and worked in the pockets. Gemello, the Calabrian-born captain, led the attack and the dressing room. Every time you watch Catanzaro play, you watch Gemello working his fucking socks off and carrying the ball forward and taking on players.
He's not a traditional 9. He can operate even as a 10, man.
He was operating as a 10 in this case. Catanzaro scored 62 goals in the regular season, joined third in their division. Their record was a fortress. Away from home was a different story, which is exactly why the playoff structure became so significant for them. Did you find out?
Yes. The manager who was previously at Catanzaro is currently at Empoli, and his name is Fabio Caserta. Even though he did not have that great a season with Empoli, hopefully
battled the relegation, the whole time.
I mean, he only played 9 matches, to be honest. He only managed them for 9 matches.
Okay, so it was him that got them that tiki-taka style 2 seasons
must
ago?
be, because the other manager they had he left in 2024. So they were... When were Catanzaro? When was that tiki-taka side?
So the season 25-26. Last season was 23-24.
So it must have been actually Vincenzo Vivarini.
And that rings a bell a lot more, man, because we would have broken down Catanzaro in the episode, this episode 2 seasons ago.
So Vivarini, oh God, bro. He was managing Bari. Oh God. Who got relegated to Serie C.
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Time and place. Let's jump to Modena, 6th place, and I bet you'll recognize this manager as well. Former Udinese coach Andrea Sottil. Yes! The father of Lecce's left winger, formerly of Milan and Fiorentina. Modena were the division's most consistent early season side, but they completely faded. Under Sottil, they played a 3-5-2, shocking, with a solid midfield structure around Sersanti and Santoro. Striker Ettore Liozzi got 9 goals, and Manuel De Luca provided the creative spark. Manuel De Luca was at Cremonese, but he was left out of the squad for Jamie Vardy,
Exactly,
and that is how he ended up at Modena.
They've also got Gregoire Defrel up front.
Yo, Defrel. Also, if you go to Modena, and you're planning on going to more than like 6 months, book Osteria Francescana. I've never been, but it's a 3 Michelin star restaurant by my favorite celebrity chef, Massimo Bottura. So they finished 6th with 55 points ahead of Juve Stabia on points, but without the same momentum. Their stadium, the Braglia, held around 11,000 supporters. Their weakness was closing games out. They were beaten at home by a Juve Stabia side that finished below them in the table, which tells you everything. Technical, very technical team, but a touch soft mentally, perhaps.
Some other players that we'll recognize over here: Francesco Zampano, who we remember from Venezia and Serie A, and Luca Zanimacchia, who has been around for so long, yet he's only 27 somehow.
Zanimacchia's 27.
Zanimacchia's 27. Remember him at Cremonese, remember him at Parma, and some of you who are Juve diehards will probably remember him at Juve as well in 2019-2020.
Can you go back, oh my God.
To Zanimacchia?
No, not Zanimacchia, the one before, the left back. Also does that. Top knot, bro. Top knot.
Yes. Top knot, literally. Zampari. What was his name again?
Zamparino, something like that.
Yeah, I had it right here.
Yeah. Sorry, but after we said his name, we said Zanimacchia right after Zampa.
Fucking hell.
Zamparo. Try Zamparo.
One second. I'm gonna pull him up. Zampano.
So completely butchered that.
Little top knot, bro. He scored once and did the McGregor celebration, remember?
Yes, bro.
He was at Frosinone before Venezia. He played for Udinese, Pescara as well.
Lit.
Yeah.
Let's jump to, so of course we just discussed Alberto Aquilani's Catanzaro, Andrea Sottil's Modena, all recognizable names. Of course, you know that Alberto Aquilani is the new Sassuolo coach after Grosso confirmed his move to Fiorentina. A lot of cool moves. Next, we're going to be discussing Ignazio Abate's Juve Stabia, and since Ignazio Abate has signed for Torino, which is very, very exciting, especially when you start drawing parallels between how Juve Stabia played football and how he can play at Torino, because it feels like it fits.
It is said that Abate lost his job
because
with
of
Milan
Zlatan,
because he didn't play Zlatan's kid.
Yes, bro.
That's what's said. I'm not sure how true it is, but it is like...
I believe it.
It's said in Italy, like...
I believe it.
Yeah.
I think it was officially reported, if I'm not mistaken.
But these reports...
If they don't come through our mouths, they're wrong.
Bro, good thing Juve Stabia weren't promoted, or we'd have to say this guy's name every week. Chamalicella.
Chamalicella is what we used to call
Chamalicella
vagina as children.
Isn't Chamalicella a festival?
Isn't Chamalicella that game you play when you call someone's name and jump into the pool? Chamalicella.
Chamalicella.
Right, yeah. Anyone that's not Maltese is so pissed off at this point.
Like, what are they saying?
So, the playoffs' most surprising story before Catanzaro stole the narrative: Ignazio Abate's Juve Stabia, based in Castellammare di Stabia near Naples. The amount of southern teams that could have gotten promoted but didn't hurts me so much, man. They played a direct, physical 3-5-2 under Abate, the former AC Milan and Italy right back, now making waves as a coach. They had 18 draws all season, most of them being against the teams in the top half, which shows both their ability not to lose, but their ability to not win games. Their key players were Nicola Mosti in midfield with 8 goals, and Alvin Okoro up front with 7 goals. Cacciamani at right wing back provided the most balls into the opposition penalty area, showing genuine attacking ambition. They were a very compact and hard team to beat and a very aerially dominant side. So I think Abate fits Udinese.
Oh, yeah.
as a team culturally good in the air, physical, direct.
Although Torino aren't far off.
Torino,
They're
he
strong.
fits as well.
Torino are strong. Casadei, he's going to enjoy Casadei, for example.
He's gonna enjoy Cholito up
Yeah.
front. I wish Duvan was 2 years younger for Abate.
Right. Some recognizable names on the side are Kevin Zaroli, former Milan youth product, of course.
Former Milan Futuro captain.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. Salim Diakite, we know from Palermo. There aren't, to be honest, many. There's Gabriel Loni up front, the number 9. He was with Como. Other than that, to be honest, I'm not recognizing many people.
I know.
You know, no.
I know.
Battistella?
You're not recognizing
Marco
I know.
Belic.
I know. Amazing. Last team.
You blanked us.
The team that finished 8th. Avellino. By another coach, you know. Who is it? Jake. Flash
Avellino.
them. Davide Ballardini.
The king, the coolest manager on the fucking sideline,
The coolest
bald
manager
man
that
with
ever
the
lived.
sunglasses, and those sunglasses that make you faster. You know the ones.
Bro.
Cold.
Exactly.
Cold.
Exactly. He is the Collina of managers. Avellino arrived in the playoffs having scraped 8th place on the final day. Of course they managed something on the last day because their manager is Davide Ballardini, Grinta. He's the CEO of Grinta FC. Under the veteran Ballardini, they played a cautious 3-5-2 based on defensive organisation and counter-attack. You know it. Limited squad depth and a poor away record, where they lost 4 of their last 6 away games, made them the softest of the 8, but Ballardini made them the hardest of them. Their captain and talisman was striker Gennaro Mancusi. They entered the preliminary round as the warmest of warm favourites for elimination.
Brother, these guys have quite a few recognizable players. They have got the likes of Gennaro Totino up front. Gennaro Totino has been around for ages, 29 years old nowadays. He has bounced around a lot. We're talking the likes of Parma, Sampdoria, Salernitana, Hellas Verona, Empoli. This guy is a Serie B specialist, Totino. They've also got Roberto Insigne, that's Lorenzo Insigne's brother. Luca D'Andrea as well. Marco Sala, formerly of Milan. Yeah, quite a few. And of course, leading the back line is none other than a criminal mafioso in Armando Izzo.
Oh, man.
Armando Izzo.
Oh, how I miss him in Serie A scoring bicycle kicks, bro.
He was a hard man.
He was the second coming of Menes, that guy, man. Izzo.
He used to score great goals.
He
It's
did,
true,
bro.
Armando.
He scored great goals. He had a great header on him. He had a good cross on him.
He
He was
just-
playing at right centre back for a while, and he was going forward quite well for Torino.
He was also horrific to play against. He was
Yes, bro.
very
Yes.
one of those players you can't root for if you're against him.
Shout out to Tetino, who has a tattoo studio in Marsa Scala, Malta.
In Slima nowadays. I
Yes,
see him all the time.
Tetino.
Tetino.
Tatino, proset. Jake, why don't you take us through the events that unfolded in the playoffs?
Because I don't wanna.
Oh, damn. We've been your hosts.
So it all started off with Modena against Juve Stabia. Now please remember that the preliminary round is only one leg. So this was do or die for who finished above who? It was, I believe, Stabia finished above Modena, right? Let's confirm that.
You are wrong.
Wrong?
No, Modena finished
Modena
above
finished
Stabia,
above Juve Stabia, so
because
exactly.
it was 6 against 7.
Yeah, 6-7. Modena were firm favourites here. Yes, I had this written. I should have just read the bit. They had the better season, home advantage, and Juve Stabia had a mediocre away record, but none of it actually mattered. The first half was tight and goalless. Modena had the better chances, but they couldn't convert, with Gliozzi and De Luca both wasteful. De Luca probably still thinking about Jamie Vardy and how dirty he did him. Juve Stabia sat in their 3-5-2 and absorbed a lot of pressure hitting on the break. The decisive moment arrived in the 87th minute. A Juve Stabia corner from Burnete swirled into the box. Modena failed to clear properly, and none other than Kevin Zeroli, the 21-year-old Milan loanee, former captain of Milan Futuro, reacted to a bobbling ball with an acrobatic bicycle kick. A beautiful moment of improvisation against the run of play, and an absolutely great moment. So it was Modena actually who led the stats with 65% ball possession and 13 shots to Juve Stabia's 9. But of course it was Juve Stabia who made it through.
And apologies for my brother's pronunciation of Gliozzi.
Gliozzi? What did I say?
Gliozzi.
Liozzi?
Liozzi.
Liozzi.
Lia.
I don't know where he's from.
Lia. Lia.
Liozzi.
Liozzi.
Gnocchi.
Knobhead. You're a knobhead.
You remember in our garden we used to have a gnome?
There used to be a gnome there.
A gnome. G for gnome. Catanzaro 3, Avellino 0. So Catanzaro capitalized on their home advantage to defeat Avellino 3-0 thanks to goals from Pontisso, Cassandro, and the 93rd minute Gemello penalty.
Cassandro.
Their stadium was absolutely rocking, and Aquilani's team pressed from the very first whistle in their 3-4-2-1 formation, and Ballardini's Avellino, who had kept their shape well in the league, they buckled under the intensity and couldn't answer. They didn't have a response to Catanzaro's pressure. It was Pontisso who opened the scoring in the 41st minute thanks to a central run from midfield set up by Patrick Chone's pass. Remember Patrick Chone? He's been around for a while as well, also not even 30 yet, I think, bro. A really nice passer of the ball, not very mobile as a player, but he worked really nicely in this Catanzaro system. So Patrick Chone's pass, exactly, and then he finished with a precise shot from the edge of the area.
He's 31.
31 nowadays?
Yeah.
Okay. So he has aged a little bit, but he's never been the most mobile, but what a player on the ball, man.
Yeah, man.
Avellino, of course, had no answer to
Yes,
Catania.
I like, and I'm recognizing him. Now I liked him, the 10.
Yeah.
I knew I liked him.
He's like a 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, not
exactly.
more than a 10.
No. But he wears the number 10 shirt.
Yeah. Avellino, of course, yes, had no answer in the 83rd minute. Favuzali ran at his man down the right, played back to Cassandro, who powered in a right foot finish. The killer blow came the 93rd minute, of course, when Le Bogne foul on Gemello in the box awarded a penalty, and Gemello, of course, the Catanzaro native, converted and celebrated in the style of Francesco Totti, lifting his shirt to reveal a dedication to his home city. 6 unica, it said, unique 6. The kind of moment that, to be honest with you, Serie B is a gem for. Yeah, so that was a very well-deserved victory by Catanzaro. And now we can move on to the semi-finals, where we had Juve Stabia against Monza. And the first match, the first leg...
Yeah, because these are two legs now, the semi-finals and the final.
Yeah, so weird that the finals 2 legs, but yeah. Juve Stabia, of course, hosted Monza, and this was the most dramatic of the semi-final first legs. There were 7,642 people at Juve Stabia Stadium. It was packed and electric, and the first half was goalless despite Monza having the better play. Dani Motta had a cross-shot goal just wide in the 7th minute, and Juve Stabia's Mosti came close from range. Il Mosti. The second half was a different match entirely. Juve Stabia took a 2-goal lead. Mosti scored in the 57th minute, and Okoro added a second in the 68 minutes. Both goals were served by crosses from Cacciamani, who played really well. The wing-back, of course, who had been the most dangerous player all match. At 2-0 with 22 minutes left to play, Monza's season was on the edge. However, Bianco did what he does best, and he reacted with 2 substitutions that changed the game. Petagna came on and immediately brought physicality and brought back Monza's ability to hold the ball up front. And in the 77th minute, Petagna won a ball in the area and laid it back to Carboni, who hit a precise left-footed first-time finish to make it 2-1.
He looked like his brother there, Carboni, with that finish.
He did. Is it his brother? Are they brothers?
No, I don't think so.
No, there's just so many Carbonis around nowadays. Then in the 89th minute, it was Charri, let's call him
Curry.
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 Sure.
Curry would be CIA.
If he's Italian, he probably is Italian. He reacted first to Hernani's free kick delivery and slotted home with his left foot from close range to make it 2-2. So yes, despite Juve Stabia dominating possession and going up 2-0, Monza managed to equalize and to make it 2-2.
Petagna saw obviously what they needed, with Juve Stabia marking so aggressively and almost bullying Monza's front line. Just bring in Petagna for that physicality.
Exactly. And just hoof the ball up to him.
Exactly.
And then the second leg, of course, with Monza at home ended in a 2-1 victory for Monza. The first half was goalless yet again. Juve Stabia needed to win, of course, because of the rule, and came forward more openly. Mosti and Zeroli, who were both on from the start this time, pushed high. Monza were composed and relied on Thiam in goal. Mota had a goal ruled out for offside in the first half. The second half was when Cutrone took over in the 85th minute. Cutrone received the ball from Hernani and finished it to put Monza ahead. Juve Stabia needed 2 goals, and with 5 minutes plus time left, Burnetta equalized in the 90th minute for Juve Stabia. A moment of pure drama. It was, what a goal, bro. That goal was sensational. A rocket into the top left corner. But it wasn't enough, and then added time, of course, when Juve Stabia's keeper went up at one point, there was a Monza player who found himself one-on-one with an empty net, and he failed to hit the target.
Yeah.
And then once again the keeper went up again, obviously, because it was do or die at that point, and this time it was Cutrone who found himself on the halfway line on a counter-attack with a keeperless net in front of him, and he manages to squeeze the ball in from an angle and runs off in celebration. Cutrone thinks that everyone is there because of him.
I think probably because he has Milan on his CV.
Yeah.
But so does Petagna, so let's be honest. But Cutrone brings for me that destro energy.
Yeah.
You know,
let's go, like, come on, everyone, on my back, I'll carry that kind of thing. No, Cutrone is a bundle of energy, and he's the type of player who I think motivates the players around him because of his relentless work ethic. And this game was just a clear example of that. And this is something we've known Cutrone to be for so long, ever since he was a kid, scoring those 2 goals against Inter in the Coppa Italia. Do you remember, Leighton? This was exactly the same as that.
Locatelli.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up together.
So yes, that is Juve Stabia.
Breaks my heart.
Literally, it breaks my heart. Juve Stabia, one of the stories of Serie B this season, eliminated by Monza.
It really breaks my heart.
Now we had Catanzaro, who were taking on Palermo. Of course, Palermo being the heavy favourites over here. Catanzaro hosted them, and they whooped their asses 3-0.
All right.
3-0, bro. They destroyed them. They fucked them up. Dude.
Yes, bro.
They had no response to them. So this is the game that really defined the Serie B season, because it's just the unpredictability and the fact that anything can happen.
Bro.
Palermo had 55% ball possession and had 9 shots to Catanzaro's 13. On paper, it was a competitive game, but in reality, the scoreline tells a completely different story. Aquilani's plan was simple and devastating. Sit in a mid-block, let Palermo build, and spring directly through the lines at pace, targeting the space behind Palermo's high defensive line. Iemmello scored in the first minute, and this is the coolest thing about Iemmello, is he's so technical, but he can still cross to his head and he will score a header. Yes, this was the first attack of the game, of course, directly exploiting the space behind Ceccaroni. Palermo tried to resettle. Iemmello scored again in the 15th minute. His brace inside the first quarter hour rendered the entire tie almost over before it had even started, one might foolishly think. However, it was Mattia Liberali who added a third in the 41st minute as Catanzaro went in 3-0 at halftime. Yes, that's right, Mattia Liberali, formerly of Milan, the one that
This
Milan...
was a goal, bro.
Yeah, this was a fantastic goal. And Milan deemed Liberali to be a little bit too small to actually keep him. Those are words that came out of Liberali's mouth himself. He said,
God.
yes, it is true. They said I was too small.
Fonseca liked him.
Yeah.
This started him and Camarda.
I remember in that protest
That-
match when Milan wore this
Whoop
kit.
it out. Yeah, PTSD. Milan didn't win because never Milan were a cool
I
kid.
got Leo at the back.
Come on, Leo.
Yes, Palermo had 6 shots on target in the entire match. Catanzaro's keeper, Piallicelli, saved 3. The Catanzaro press was absolutely relentless. Their shape was disciplined and the fullbacks provided a lot of width. Patrick Ciona and Pontisso controlled the middle. Liberali and Pittarello really disrupted the defense by running at them in between the midfield and the high defensive line. Absolutely beautiful. Bro, whose name did I butcher?
I just find it funny because, like, obviously you don't read these names every day,
No.
but you hear talking about Pigliacelli,
Pigliacelli.
Pigliacelli, and Favasuli and Cassandro and Petriccio. That just makes me
Favasuli.
laugh.
The second leg saw Palermo almost making a comeback. They beat Catanzaro 2-0 in their own stadium, and the atmosphere at the Barbera was absolutely electric, okay? Even though they needed to overturn a 3-0 victory. They would have had to win exactly 3-0, and that would have seen them go through as they finished in 4th, of course. La Duran was unavailable because of injury, weakening Inzaghi's attacking options. I mean, to be honest, he's got options. Poyampalo headed in from Pierozzi's cross in the 3rd minute, and that would have given Catanzaro a whole lot of anxiety, having already conceded 3 minutes into the game. And yes, Palermo charged forward. Peda left injured in the 16th minute. This was a huge blow for the defensive structure. Catanzaro absorbed in the first half and went into the halfway into halftime, 1-0 down. The second half saw Palermo create chance after chance. They finished with 17 shots to Catanzaro's 12. They won 53% ball possession and had 5 shots on target, but Catanzaro's goalkeeper and defensive organization held firm for 80 minutes. Rui Modesto scored in the 89th minute to make it 2-0 on the night, but it was still not enough. Pierozzi scored in the 93rd and Palumbo in the 96th, but then wait, what?
Just everyone's scoring now.
No. This is bullshit. The fuck is this? Yeah, but it was still not enough. Yes, so it was just 3-2 on aggregate. Of course, ignore that last part. Not quite sure what the fuck this is. I must have copied and pasted some bullshit.
Yeah.
The hard break for Palermo, of course. And to be honest with you, let's say, brother, you are the head of City Group or whatever, the person responsible for this Palermo project.
God, I'm underqualified.
You're underqualified, but do you give Pippo Inzaghi the keys to next season?
Yes. I think
give
so.
him another year?
I think because he has a proven track record there.
And they got so close, right?
They got so close. He just joined his previous job. He got a team promoted. He got Pisa promoted to Serie A. Left, took on a project like Palermo. I thought that maybe Palermo should have done better in the playoffs, you know. But
the 3-0 loss was quite humiliating.
The 3-0 loss is humiliating, but I would put all my eggs in the basket of Inzaghi can get us top 2 next season. You see the teams coming down, and I think I would fancy Palermo with the continuity that they have with the project, with the players with Serie A experience. I think they can get it done. You see Pisa coming down.
I think next
you see
season,
Cremonese coming down.
It's going to be tough. Hellas Verona will be clear favourites next season.
They will be clear favourites.
They're going to be rich as shit. They're going to get a massive parachute payment. They've been in Serie A for
Cremonese will lose a lot of players because they were in on loan. I think they'll maybe need a season to recover.
Cremonese. They're also
they are
financially healthy club.
Yeah. But Palermo will improve significantly next year. I'm sure of it. They'll be very consistent.
Yeah. Moving on to the final, we had the first leg, and this saw Catanzaro at home, and Monza actually beat them 2-0. Now their stadium was at its absolute loudest. Catanzaro had been unbeaten in 16 of their previous 17 home games. The fortress was supposed to hold, but Monza arrived ready for the task, to be honest, and Bianco's team was outstanding. Birindelli struck the crossbar in the 4th minute, an omen of what was to come. Monza controlled the tempo and disrupted Catanzaro's pressing triggers. Hernani scored a wonderful goal, an absolute rocket, and Caso added a second to send Monza back north with a 2-0 advantage. This was quite an uphill battle now, as Catanzaro had to go to Monza Stadium and win 3-0 to go up to Serie A. They arrived in the second leg ready for the task, but only managed a 2-0 victory to go out in a heartbreaking manner. And the scenes at the end were heartbreaking, with the entire team in tears. The entire team in tears, bro.
Yeah.
So this was the U-Powers Stadium's all-time highest attendance record, with 17,015 people present for this match. Catanzaro came and attacked from the very first minute. It was Jack who headed goalwards in the 13th minute from a free kick. But Thiam gathered that one, but then it was Jack actually scored later on. Do you remember Jack at Como?
Jack,
I think he had a... look him up. I believe he has he might have a different first name. Felipe Jack, exactly. Do you remember this guy at Como? He would come on randomly.
No, God.
He was a defender.
Jeez, his photos giving me the heebie-jeebies, dude. Jeez, they should really choose a better photo for him. Oh my God. It looks like a Play-Doh doll, man, in this photo.
Tyson, if you want to pull up Felipe Jack on Transfer Market and just zoom into his face, that's what Matt is reacting
Jeez,
to right now.
I can link you, Big Tice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Yes, he scored though. He scored in the 40th minute to open the scoring to make it 1-0, keeping the tie alive. Yeah. In the 78th minute, Frosinone rose to head home for 2-0. He leveled it on aggregate, but of course it was not enough, and Catanzaro could not score a third, and it was heartbreaking to be honest, bro. I don't hate Monza. It's not that I hate them, but I would have much preferred Catanzaro, just for the culture.
For the culture, give me Catanzaro, bro. Give me Catanzaro. Just that's a team that is more southern than Napoli, bro. That's how southern Catanzaro are. No, and just like the heart and the passion that they played with, the fact that they played such an attractive brand of football 2 years ago as well under Viviani, and now as well. No, they won everyone's hearts, and it's the fans, It's the fans that turn up all the time. I ideally would have liked Catanzaro or Palermo to make it to Serie A. To have representation from the south, representation from Sicily. There are no Sicilian teams in Serie A at the moment.
Annoying,
there's a Sardinian team in Serie A. There are southern teams in Serie A, not many, Napoli and Lecce. I would love to have more of that representation.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You know, Serie A's poor anyway. You know,
It's
so
about-
I want the poor teams to make it up to Serie A.
It's about getting because football is quite like football imitates life, and it's nice to have a holistic kind of view of Italy through Serie A.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you have, I don't know, fans from the north
Venezia.
traveling down south,
Mhm.
traveling to Sardinia. It's always nice to have that.
You
of
go
course.
watch Catanzaro, then you take your woman to Stroppa for a couple of days. Let's go, babe. Let's go to the beach. You know, you and me. Let's eat, let's drink. Let's make love. Anyway, yes, so we hope you enjoyed that rundown. Absolutely devastating that Catanzaro didn't make it.
I thought they defended like rock stars as well, Catanzaro, bro. Their defenders love a slide tackle. And they look old school, man. So many Italians with like medium long hair sliding with, studs
Yeah,
up.
man.
It's lovely to watch.
Yeah.
And
It's
then those
fucking
inventive
sad.
tens as
it
well.
It breaks my heart, bro. And
breaks
the thing is, now Aquilani is gone. So Catanzaro need to start again.
But they have a good
You know?
sporting project.
They
They've
do.
been overperforming for a while now.
They do, bro. They do. Come on, Catanzaro. We're going. But yes, so those are the newly promoted sides. That's a breakdown when it comes to the Serie A playoffs. Brother, should we discuss the teams that got relegated? Should we maybe jump to the Abate and Aquilani moves to Serie A?
Let's do that before we get to the relegated ones.
Let's
talk
go
about-
through the relegated ones quite quickly.
Yes, of course. I mean, to be honest, bro, I don't have really much to say about them, to be honest, because I mean we didn't
fucking
watch them that much at all. Like
bro.
I mean, Reggiana, Spezia, and Pescara were relegated. We know that Pescara had a bit of a fairy tale moment when they brought Lorenzo Insigne back, but it was not
close.
It was not
So
enough.
close.
Spezia, of course, free fall crash without Pio Esposito carrying their asses, and Reggiana, of course, relegated too. These are the automatic relegations, and then might as well do this now. We had a relegation playout between 16th and 17th. That was Sütterol against Bari. Both matches ended 0-0. And therefore Bari were relegated via the playout. But the real story over here, because honestly, bro, like these games were so low quality. Both teams had chances, but they were low quality chances that were taken in a low quality way. It reminded me of the football match I played yesterday, to be honest with you. Mostly, I mean, I was part of the problem. But the story over here is Maziello, and we've spoken about him previously, and we actually said this before on the podcast for the regular listeners. But Maziello, formerly of Atalanta and a player who had been involved in a match-fixing scandal, actually in Serie B back in the day, has previously featured for Bari and was playing for Sütterol this season. He's a veteran centre-back. And with the playout on the horizon, he decided to retire before the match could be played so he could honour both his clubs, who he has 100 appearances for each of them.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Very nice story.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's discuss. So, of course, there are a couple of vacant roles for managerial positions in Serie A heading into the 26-27 season. Grosso, who was known also as a Serie B specialist, right? Grosso.
Fatty Bom Bom, he was known as, with that surname. That means fat in Italian.
Fantastic. So Grosso moved to Fiorentina, who parted ways with their caretaker manager Vanoli. So Sassuolo needed another young, exciting, attacking manager. Someone that can give the same hype and the same, what do you call it when they look up to you? The same influence as Grosso. Come in, Aquilani. Maybe, you know, Grosso had better moments in his career, but Aquilani had a great career as well. So he's been confirmed as the new Sassuolo head coach, replacing Grosso, with a deal in place until June 2028. The former Liverpool midfielder impressed at Pisa before taking Catanzaro to the Serie B promotion playoff final, losing narrowly to Monza, as you just heard Jake describe. Sassuolo were seen as the right project, and he ultimately chose them over Torino, who we'll be talking about very soon. The fit is perfect in my eyes over here. Aquilani to Sassuolo. His style of football, his attacking and his dynamic, with a 3-man attack and a midfield that pushes forward rather than controls. It fits that transition replay that Sassuolo like to play. Sassuolo aren't going to come in and dictate the tempo. You know, they've got Matic who breaks, Kone who builds, and Thordsvet who fucking goes into the attack and scores whatever kind of goal. And he's good in the air. He's going to have now Berardi, Lauriante. He's not exactly going to replicate, because he's compared to De Zerbi with his style of play.
Because he utilized the 10s, yeah.
Because he utilizes the 10s, because he's attacking minded and intelligent with the patterns of play, etc. He's not gonna replicate that De Zerbi Sassuolo immediately. He's gonna put his own spin on it, but the pieces are there with Berardi and Lauriante as the wide forwards, a technically capable midfield, and an ownership model that trusts its coaches, as you can see from hiring another young manager. And that season where they got relegated, they hung on to Dionisi for so long. This is truly a club that adores their managers and shows faith in them.
I wonder what his team will look like with more of winger profiles than 10s.
It will be interesting.
And Berardi, obviously, I mean, they can both cut inside, especially Berardi. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like an atypical 4-3-3 with Berardi operating almost as an attacking midfielder and Lauriante stretching.
Perfect for Volpato,
Indeed.
who plays well in the pocket behind the striker. We argue about this. You say he's a winger, I say he's attacking midfielder. He's probably somewhere there.
He's played both. Like.
Imagine he brings in Liberali to Sassuolo.
Could literally do, like.
He could
do.
Yeah. Unless Liberali is very mature, he probably wants another season in Serie B.
I wonder if it want a different striking profile than Pinamonti.
Yeah, but I mean, any manager who goes there is not going to want Pinamonti or Inzola.
I mean, Pinamonti scores you 10 goals a season.
Scored 9 last season, actually. But anyway. Year 1 expectation. What is his year 1 expectation?
Top half.
Oh, that's tough.
Where did they finish the season?
11th? 10th?
Yeah,
I mean, it could be, but it's year 1 for a manager that they just got from a Serie B side.
Yeah, but they would want to make progress. They would always want to build on what they've done. The objective will never be something less than what they have achieved. This is next season, one sec. So yes, they finished the season 11th, exactly 1 point off of 10th. So I assume 10th would be the benchmark this year.
Yeah. I guess depending on how close he gets and what the circumstances are is how they would define. They're going to keep him.
Unless the benchmark is the way they play. Maybe they want to build something long-term with the football. But then you risk your manager getting poached while you're wasting time.
Yeah, I guess.
You know?
I guess.
That's why football is so results-driven, man. Because every employee can get snatched by the rival company. Yeah.
There's a note here, the Berardi contract question and finding a Serie A quality striker are the 2 summer priorities. So they need to extend Berardi and they need to find a better striker. They want to play recognizable, attractive football and the beginning of what could be a very significant managerial career that really launches Aquilani into the mainstream. And then we have, of course, that was confirmed overnight that Torino have reached an agreement with their second choice, from what you just heard, Ignazio Abate, as their new head coach on a 2-year deal running until 2028, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. He saw off competition from Ivan Juric, Eusebio Di Francesco and Alberto Gilardino to land that role. This is literally breaking news for you guys right now. It confuses me.
Why?
Because if you look at Gilardino and Abate, I get it. Even Juric to a certain degree. But if you look at Aquilani, he's a completely different kind of manager. So I think Abate fits Torino more. But wouldn't Torino be looking at a certain style of play that fits their squad? Why are they interested? It's like being interested in Klopp and Ballardini.
Bro, honestly, it's a good question. It's a good question. So the answer is, how sure are we that Aquilani was the first choice? We don't really know. This is what's being reported. Yeah. Second of all, I think that more than style, perhaps, they prioritize success. What do Aquilani and Abate have in common? They both overperformed with their teams in Serie B last season.
I mean,
I guess more than the style, they prioritize the success.
In reality, there are a number of parallels between them. I mean, Abate's 39, Aquilani is 41. They are both Italian coaches making their Serie A debut from Serie B breakthrough seasons. None of them got promoted. They both made it to the playoffs. They both bring direct high-energy systems. They both played for major clubs. Abate at Milan, Aquilani at Roma and Liverpool and Milan. So there are a few parallels, but in their style of play, how they score their goals, how they win their games, you have someone like Abate who got you 18 draws for the physical Juve Stabia, and then you have the Aquilani who is with this direct passage of play, monster, grinta, Catanzaro. I mean, they could both work. It's just always interesting when you hear a team is interested in 2 coaches and you look at their profiles and they're different. So you're like,
I can't imagine Aquilani at this current Torino side. I think Sassuolo is a much better fit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just simply makes more sense. So a bit of context. So there's a personal connection between Abate and Torino. Torino is the place Milan signed Abate from in the 2000. He played there in the 08-09 season before his decade-long spell at Milan. So there is some kind of an emotional attachment. When it comes to the system at Juve Stabia, Abate ran a direct physical 3-5-2 built around compactness, aerial dominance and high energy wingbacks. The question is whether he adapts that for a Serie A squad with more technical quality or evolves it. The 3-5-2 actually suits Torino's squad quite well. We've seen them play at 3-5-2 for many a year. They have profiles for it like Coco Ismaili and De Bosse at the back.
Subject to health and fitness.
Subject to health and fitness, of course. The wing-back positions, if they retain Bellanova, if they bring Bellanova back, it'd be perfect. But otherwise, they have Lazaro, of course, who's a great fit. Casadei as the box-to-box midfielder. So yeah, there are a few profiles that fit that formation pretty well. Of course, Vlasic behind the striker. They have Cholito Simeone and either Shea Adams or Zapata up front. They have a few very good pieces over there. In fact, the next point is Simeone as the Abate striker. His Serie B system was built around a physical focal point who pressed relentlessly, won aerial duels and held up play.
Sounds like Simeone.
Sounds like something Simeone can do. And he had a very good breakout season. This could be his breakout season. He had his breakout season at Hellas Verona. He had a good season last year.
Yeah.
And then comes the tricky part for Abate. Because instead of being hired by Sassuolo, who show faith in their manager, who have a sustainable model, you know, he's being hired by Urbano Cairo. Refuses to sell to Red Bull Group.
Not great, but I believe Cairo, if the manager does well, he's not one to force him out.
The point I think is that he is a very unambitious.
No, yes,
owner.
I mean, he's unambitious, but I'm sure Abate knows, and he just saw an into Serie A.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think Abate will be thinking about his long-term future over there. Juric, for example, was at Torino for 4 years, which is becoming increasingly rarer, to be honest, nowadays, with so many managerial changes happening so frequently.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see these two coaches in Serie A, and I hope that they don't get their throats slashed within the first 6 months.
Look, I mean, it's time for a bit of a new wave of managers. We've just lost Vincenzo Italiano to Besiktas. Gilardino, it looks like no one wants to offer him a contract. We'll wait and see. Maybe one of the newly promoted teams, say Venezia, take a liking to him. Or one of these guys, maybe Monza, because these all have coaches that I don't really see them excelling in Serie A, the 3 newly promoted sides. So maybe they'll look at Gilardino, maybe they'll look at some of these other guys. But the more young Italian managers coming up, man, I love it. And two, I don't think I could have picked 2 better ones to come up from Serie B to Serie A than Abate and Aquilani.
I love that we have a mix of veteran managers and up-and-coming managers. It's amazing to see. You have Grosso still there, Aquilani, Abate, of course, all coming up. Palladino, God knows where he will be next. Wait, has he been confirmed?
Palladino?
No, right?
No,
not
he
yet.
hasn't been. Not yet. Not yet.
By the way, funnily enough, Bologna's new manager is called Tedesco, which means German.
Yes.
In Italian. So they have gone from Italiano to Germano. Yeah.
Insane.
So we have a nice mix of experience and exciting managers coming up.
Yes. Guys, I think that's it for today's episode.
No fantasy football, of course, that's over.
Yeah, no Patreon Corner, which we'll think of a better name for that segment as well. We'll keep things going. We still need to get our heads together and discuss a bit what we are going to do next week. Yeah. Question. Would you guys, as I ask 2 hours into the episode where I'm speaking to the void, would any of you guys be interested to know how the Serie A players are doing in the World Cup? Like if we were to tell you, I don't know, how Mediterranean is performing, if my God,
the worst example.
The worst possible example, bro. Iran.
The guy we mentioned today, bro.
Yeah, that guy.
Galdemis.
Galdemis, for example. Galdemis.
For Algeria.
Exactly.
That's what we did in the last World Cup. And to be honest...
The last World Cup, you went to South Africa and you were out for a month, dude. I got Theo and Jamie over.
But we had
misbehaved a lot.
We had done, was it for the Euros then? We had done the No, we had recorded our World Cup episode
Yes,
before
yes,
I
yes,
left.
we had.
And it was looking at how exactly some Serie A players are performing at the World Cup. But to be honest, I think some alternative content or some straight up World Cup discussion more holistically would probably be better than just that specific niche.
We'll give you every breaking news always that has to do with Serie A. We will keep you
Yeah.
updated as the summer progresses, what rumours. We don't like talking rumours, we like talking confirmed shit, but we'll give you what is relevant at the time. We're obviously going to talk about the World Cup. It's the biggest sporting event ever. Of course, for us, competition significantly increases when we start talking about something like
We'll
the
see.
World Cup instead of Serie A, but maybe we'll attract some new Serie A fans and some loyal listeners.
But we'll
So,
see. This
I'll
is
treasure
definitely
it.
not a promise because we have to discuss it.
Yes. And we're one beer in, and I don't know, it made us a bit funny this episode, I think, man. Anyway, guys, have to go to Love Island. Love you all. Take care. Good night.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. And the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.